The voice of generation, what? The kids. This is my point of view. This is a perspective from a generation that so far hasn't had much of a voice. Whether I'm wrong or right doesn't fucking matter. Know what you've done to us. No, we weren't given a choice. I'm about to fucking change that, and I don't fucking care about critics. Get your heads out of your asses or go to hell. Don't like my fucking language. Guess you shouldn't have built a bomb you didn't want detonated. Oh shit, did I say bomb? Better call national fucking security. The generation this article will speak to the most is the one that won't understand what it is for. They will scratch their heads, grab their iPods while on the way to class, or their first entry-level career. I am part of that generation. The only difference is I'm fucking sick of apathy. I'm sick of having my attention span occupied while the rest of the world walks all over us and brainwashes us of what to expect our future to be. We no more understand why we're thrust into wars than we understand how the microwave was invented. We like to say that we do, in order to relate to the adults that seem so politically passionate. It's just a little more attention from mommy and daddy. Some of us even like to watch famous political figures or critics that sound like they know what they're talking about. So what if they do? Every word that comes out of their mouths has an undertone of war. That means every word your ears hear is pro-war. I don't care if the message is against. Our goddamn electronic minds only understand that we are a volatile, defensive country set on war. We ignore it because we don't want to know. Facebook does a very good job at entertaining our broken minds. Fucking awesome. What the adults don't tell us is that they are part of the same fucked up system that we are. That's because they know it even less than we do. Most of the hippies of the 60s packed up and conformed because if we can't protest, how can we love, right? Wrong. We all got swept up in the current of corporate America, and everyone is too afraid to admit it nowadays because of the heightened security of every aspect of our existence. We have become more reactive, afraid, and malnourished of love than ever before. Our generation is brave indeed for putting up with this shit and having no idea what a good, comfortable nation should be. All we have are scattered reflections of a war-torn past after we were told to stop frolicking in a forest of video games and television. We don't even know that we don't want this. We don't understand how miserable we are because of the well-placed distractions. The adults have knowingly and unknowingly programmed us to be so ADD that even writing papers is a fucking mess. Our goddamn perceptions of who we are is so royally screwed, we're committing suicide instead of talking. We're slicing up our fucking arms instead of listening. Video games captured our attention and imagination, and that's not a bad thing if it were only us living here. But ever since that first console yanked our young minds away from the world, the adults, the political sharks, they fed. They learn what sways us, what pretty words to say so that the video game of life can continue. And we eat that fucking shit out of their hands like it's fucking Halloween. Hey, go to war. Look at the causes we have. Pick this one. We will feed you a broken dollar bill, paid for by a broken government if you go. Hell yeah. Guns? I shot one of those in Grand Theft Auto 4. Fuck you. No matter what age you are, one thing we all share and seem to nurse together is a shattered heart. This is tragic and beautiful, yet what is most tragic is we all know it as nothing fucking new. As we age, it seems as if many of us become jaded at how the world is and look the other way, or feel their despair at being thrust into a chaotic maelstrom with alcohol or substances that only serve to adjust the hue of disappointment we carry around with us. Instead of worrying about the world, we're granted the gorgeous option of being tied to a fucking substance because that's the only real fucking thing we seem to be able to look forward to. If we can learn how to relate on the level of our hearts, then how can any amount of words compare to the level of connection we can ascend to together? We all have people we would prefer not to be around, but taking into consideration this aspect of relationships, how can we truly detest a single soul? We all want recognition, love, and quite frankly, raw emotional lives of authenticity. We want to be real. We don't want to read in a fucking textbook how to live our lives, do we? Our first mistake is being tricked into thinking we already know how to live. And yet, those evenings of self-loathing, sprinkled with a little hatred toward the lives we live, come around like they've been waiting to see how vulnerable we can get before the pill bottles start looking like dinner. The sad fucking truth is, for a while, we frolic in a forest of enchantment and wonder. And then a barren field of bombs appears through the brush, the remains of a war-torn society battling for supremacy. Was it our fault? No, not really. Are we thrown into it? Are we forced to learn about war? Are we taught how very dim and greedy our nature is supposed to be? 12 grades of mandatory schooling feeds us what to think about our country. We weren't given a choice but to accept how intrinsically sad, depressed, and pointless society seems to be as we age into it. Yet we are somehow better than everyone else. Our generation was handed scraps. Only when we get to choose our directions of study does life even seem remotely in our control. And yet many times brainwashed parents still have the majority of say in what we study, because why? They have more of that broken dollar than we do. To make those scraps seem like a full meal, we're also fed systems of belief so that we don't see scraps, but instead opportunity. This wouldn't be so bad if we never got wise to the insult to our intelligence, the lie. We can't even get on a flight without being molested and treated like convicts. Yeah, sure, blame the incidents that have so much goddamn conspiracy around them that many of us don't fucking know if we should blame America for the shit America fights against. We are a nation of shit-talking skeezy fucks that say whatever clean line keeps us in line. I fucking dare you to consider this. I write a fucking article with tears, and chances are no one will still give a shit. My poor fucking generation is so afraid to be not cool that they'll read a line of this and say fuck that, check their Facebook, and hit play on Pandora. Nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is how we've been trained to live in a bad fucking dream. So may this short message from a 25-year-old fucking child be a beacon of any kind of hope. Do I feel all grown up? No, I do not. I feel like I could beat a fucking video game, and when I'm done with that video game, I feel like I could beat the shit out of every political jargon spewing motherfucker breathing my, for now, good air. Peace.